You ready for the best in Sooner football recruiting news? Then it's time to get locked in with Parker Thune and Grayson Singleton.
You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. You lock it up. Lock it up.
Whether you're a recruiting doomer or sunshine pumper, text the guys on the First Liberty Bank text line at 405-651-3439. And call your shot on the Riverwind Casino jackpot line at 405-329-9000.
Do it! Just do it!
Now, with Locked In, here's Parker Thune and Grayson Singleton.
Man, I let myself go today, Grayson.
What'd you do?
I do this about once a month. You know me, I generally eat pretty healthy.
Mm-hmm.
If I eat out, I'm usually having like a plate of chicken and rice from a Hawaiian food joint or, eating like a kava bowl or something.
Oh, you never guessed where I got lunch today.
Oh, my goodness. I just, maybe once a month or so, I just have an all-out cheat meal, and I did that for lunch. I went to Tucker's, and not only did I do an onion burger and fries.
Oh, boy.
But I had a banana pudding shake as well.
Oh, the banana pudding shakes over there good?
Oh, they're pretty dang good.
Okay.
Unfortunately, they don't, at least from my experience today, it wasn't blended exceptionally well, so there were like 3 or 4 vanilla wafers that kind of sunk to the bottom and just stuck there.
Sure.
But a really easy way to get my business is to just offer and advertise banana pudding anything.
Really?
Whether it's just straight banana pudding, I'm all over that. You make a banana pudding shake. I'm going to get that. Whataburger has one from time to time as well.
Mm-hmm.
Heck, if there were a hot dog vendor out on the street selling banana pudding hot dogs, I'd probably order one.
Okay, now you nasty. That's gross.
Just for the sake of sheer curiosity, I'd probably order one. But
golly,
man, I am good and full, and have been for the last couple hours.
Hey,
since I threw down on some Tuckers.
Hey, I mean, all you gotta do go hit the gym later today, run off those calories. All of a sudden, it's not a cheat meal anymore.
That's what I'm planning on.
Oh, what you got today?
What do I got today?
If you're working out, like what day is it for you today?
Oh, I haven't been in the gym in at least a week because I've been in Omaha for the CWS.
Right.
So, and I spent most of the last 2 days, day and a half, I guess, sleeping, recovering because I was at a major sleep deficit. But I feel back to normal today. Good. Had my Tuckers, gonna go hit the gym and. We'll see what happens.
I got me a little Hawaiian Bros, the new one on Campus Corner. It was solid.
Yeah?
Today. Yeah, it was pretty good.
What did you go with? What was your order?
Oh, shoot. I can't remember the Hawaiian word that it was. The one that starts with a K.
Kilauea, the spicy?
Yes.
The spicy chicken?
The spicy one, yes.
I tell you what, man, you cannot get a bad thing at Hawaiian Bros.
I don't think so, man. It was solid.
Whether it's the bowls or like the luau pork sliders, or I tried a wrap the other day. One of their wraps.
Was that good?
Exceptional. You genuinely cannot go wrong at Hawaiian Bros. But, yes, I'm back to normal. Had my Tuckers, ready to launch into another hour of OU football and recruiting talk. And first things first.
One other thing I wanted to ask you.
Yes,
Chris
by all means.
Chris from Knoxville on the text line says, play that song for Grayson. We need his reaction. What song is he referring to?
The Istanbul Constantinople song. It's still open. Yeah, were you listening?
Oh no, I wasn't, but I know exactly what song you're talking about.
Okay,
yeah, I've heard that song.
I'd never heard it before.
You had it?
No.
Dude, that song is like 15 years old.
It seems older than that.
I think I was putting it conservatively.
Steely dug that up from the archive of his memory somewhere, and
I'm surprised you've never heard that song.
No, never had. Esra Boomin on the First Liberty Bank text line 405-651-3439 says, tried the Hawaiian Bros in Broken Arrow, and it was less than stellar. The Honolulu chicken was overcooked. The veggies were mush. My apologies, Esra Boomin. Don't let it affect your perception of Hawaiian Bros as a whole. This is a one-off deal. Try it again. I guarantee you'll have a much better experience. Regardless, let's get started today by first and foremost reminding you that the show is brought to you by Dorsey Jones GMC in El Reno. Dorsey Jones is family-owned and operated. GMC offers some of the most reliable trucks and SUVs on the road today, so if you're in the market for a new ride, let the passionate, experienced folks at Dorsey Jones get you behind the wheel of a GMC, that is right for you. 405-651-3439. That's how you get a hold of us on the First Liberty Bank text line. And one of Oklahoma's quarterback targets in the 2028 cycle is off the board. Grayson talked about it earlier in the week. It's not a surprise by any means. It had kind of become the expectation in recent days. But Trey Taliaferri, the four-star signal caller out of Bergen Catholic High School in Colts Neck, New Jersey, has committed to the Fighting Irish over Oklahoma. Now, basically the essence of the situation here is this. Trey Taliaferri visited Oklahoma at the beginning of June. Loved the visit. Absolutely loved it. Oklahoma was not ready at that time to move forward with Trey Taliaferri as their guy and communicated that to him. Said, hey, we want to take this thing slow. Let's see where things go over the next couple of months. So he leaves, goes out to South Bend, Indiana, picks up the offer from Notre Dame, which is the school that his family has long had a loyalty to. And so it became OU Notre Dame. Now, I would actually have said, and I think many would have said, that even after adding the Notre Dame offer, Oklahoma was still kind of in the catbird seat with Trey Taliaferri. But then the Sooners hosted Brady Quinn just last week. That went very, very well. Quinn, just given who he is stylistically as a player, seems a little bit more of a logical fit for Oklahoma's offensive scheme as it's currently composed than Taliaferri. And so I think this kind of works out for both parties. Grayson, Notre Dame gets their guy, and a guy that's a little bit more geared to the things that they like to do offensively. And Oklahoma no longer has to play the balancing game between Taliaferri and Brady Quinn. They can go all out moving forward with the intent of locking in Brady Quinn as their guy in the 2028 cycle. And to be clear, they're not going to put all their eggs, not every single egg, into that basket. They're still going to maintain the relationships with Graham Simpson and Gavin Strang and Trey Wright, but this makes it clear, Grayson, Oklahoma's top guy at that position in the 28 cycle is Brady Quinn now.
Yeah, and sometimes process of elimination can do that for you, but I think Trey Taliaferri kind of took the hint in this, not that, hey, we don't want you, but when somebody think about this, and I make dating references all the time. If you're over here with a girl and she says, yeah, I just kind of need to take a little bit of time, maybe keep the options open a little bit, you know what's going on here. Like, there's more options involved. And I think for Oklahoma, I think they've always known that Brady Quinn is that dude, and that's fine. Like, if that's your preferred type, you go ahead and try to get that preferred type locked down. So I think this is going to be one of those stories that ends up where everybody ends up where they need to be. Like, Trey Taliaferri is probably more of a better fit at Notre Dame. Brady Quinn is the more stylistic fit here at Oklahoma. I think they're both going to end up in those places, and I think we're going to be good. Hell, they might even play each other at some point. Maybe they meet in the college football playoff in the year 2030, 2031, or something like that, and then we can duke it out on the field. But I think for the time being, this is going to end up going pretty much how it should go for all parties involved, and you can't be mad at that.
Crazy thing is, as a 405 listener points out, wasn't Brady Quinn the quarterback at Notre Dame like 20 years ago? Yes.
This is also true.
And so what kind of further clears the path for new Brady Quinn to Oklahoma is Trey Taliaferri committing to the same school that old Brady Quinn once starred at. And this was kind of a hilarious back and forth between me and a few of my compadres on the Notre Dame beat when we were discussing this just back and forth a couple weeks back. And Taliaferri had obviously just picked up the Notre Dame offer and won some insight as to where Oklahoma stood. And so we were talking about that situation. I was just kind of like, yeah, I mean, Oklahoma loves Taliaferri. They love Brady Quinn. I think they could get either one right now if they chose to kind of put a red eye on one or the other. And one of my Notre Dame colleagues said, it's interesting. Brady Quinn's name is literally Brady Quinn, and Notre Dame hasn't engaged with him at all at this point. But how wild is that? Trey Taliaferri, like Oklahoma's unwillingness to go full throttle after Trey Taliaferri led him to Notre Dame, and that might point Brady Quinn, the new one, directly to Norman. I do think Oklahoma leads for Quinn after he visited last week. OU's by no means out of the woods. It's not like that kid's going to be committed the next day or two to OU or even the next month or two. Probably going to be a little while yet, but the Sooners are in very, very good shape, battling Indiana, battling UCLA, battling Purdue as well. I bring up Purdue, and everybody's like, Purdue? They suck. There's no way, right? Well, the offensive coordinator at Purdue, or I think he's the quarterback's coach, Darren Hinshaw, offered Brady Quinn when he was in 7th grade at UCF. So that relationship goes back a long, long way, and that's why you will hear Purdue mentioned for Brady Quinn. Purdue is not just a school that gets thrown in there for nominal purposes. Purdue is actually a player in the Brady Quinn recruitment. I would say that if and when they enter the picture, Clemson will probably be Oklahoma's stiffest competition, but the Sooners are in really, really good shape.
So why hasn't Clemson entered the picture yet?
Because they haven't offered any quarterbacks in the 2028 cycle.
Interesting.
Because old Dabo Swinney is just a little bit different as far as how he handles things, with that position especially. Clemson is the only P4 school that has yet to offer a 2028
Wait,
quarterback.
hang on. Have they always done this?
So generally how it's gone in years past.
Because that's an outstanding run of quarterbacks in years past.
Yeah,
they've been
is.
doing this for a while.
It is. And, that's kind of the luxury that you're afforded when you win 2 national championships in 3 years like he did. And it's been 8 years now since they won their last one. But
Sure.
Clemson was on top of the world there for a minute there. And so you can afford to wait when you're a school of that ilk with that type of success hanging around in these kids' recent memories. And so I don't think they've ever taken this long to offer. They generally have and I can't remember, I think it's June 1st. They generally have a day on the calendar where they start to issue offers to rising juniors. They almost never offer prospects before the summer prior to the junior year. And so, yeah, man, I'm telling you, it's weird, it's different, but such is life when Dabo Swinney's your head coach.
Yeah,
Generally,
that's true.
I think they already had their 2027 quarterback committed at this time last year in Kareem Hewley.
Okay.
And the reason we were all kind of watching Clemson's pursuit of the 2027 quarterback, whoever he may be at that time, was because they were involved in the Peyton Houston sweepstakes.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I think he was one of those guys that got an offer from Clemson. Hewley from the state of Georgia was the one that jumped on it pretty early and became Clemson's 2027 guy. But I don't think they've ever taken quite this long to offer a quarterback that's a rising junior.
So were they doing this when they had that run of like Taj Boyd and Kelly Bryant to Deshaun Watson to Trevor Lawrence to even Cade Klubnik too? Like, were they doing this late offer type thing with all of those dudes too?
Yes.
Okay, that's actually kind of impressive.
Yes. And I'll say this too. It hasn't necessarily been the norm as much so as it is these days for quarterbacks to get offers as early as they do, because it hasn't always been the norm for quarterbacks to get the opportunity to start and put up varsity tape as freshmen or even sophomores.
True.
You look at a guy like Jamison Roberts, his trajectory is pretty unconventional these days, but it used to be the norm, right? It used to be the case that a guy would sit the bench even if he was really good, if he was in a high school program worth anything, he would sit his freshman year. Maybe he played a little bit his sophomore year. Maybe he even started his sophomore year. But like junior year was his year, and it was understood that junior and senior year, like the program was his. He had the keys. I need to fact check this because if this is true, this slipped by me. A 405 listener said Clemson offered 2 QBs earlier this week, and Quinn was not one of them. I will fact check that in the break because if that is indeed as fresh as you would make it sound, I am disappointed in myself that I did not catch wind of that. But if Quinn wasn't one of them, then I would say that further solidifies Oklahoma as the lead dog in Quinn's recruitment because he's been waiting on Clemson. He would really like that Clemson offer. Oklahoma went. They went ahead on Brady Quinn much earlier than Clemson did, and that's helped stake them to this early lead.
So is Clemson a dream school scenario for Brady Quinn?
Kinda, yeah.
Gotcha.
It's a school that he's always had an affinity for.
Would it be a situation where as soon as Clemson got on board, they would become the leader?
At this point, no, I don't think so.
Gotcha. Okay.
just kind of gauging where he's at as far as his feelings toward Clemson, like, he's a little miffed. They haven't pulled the trigger yet.
And that's why you can't be playing around with these kids. Like, sometimes they're going to harbor a little bit of resentment if you start playing around with them and pulling on them like they're a little puppet or something, where you're, like, dangling an offer only when it's conventional. Like, you can't always be playing around with these kids.
Chris from Knoxville asked, if you could handpick between the remaining QB targets, who would you go with? Are you a Graham Simpson guy? Is that where you stand on it?
I like Graham Simpson a lot. I mean, it's kind of hard to overlook. What is it, like 50-something touchdowns and 1 pick? I think he's got the best deep ball in this class. Of the quarterbacks that we've talked about in relation to Oklahoma, I think he's got the best deep ball. And coming from the family that he does with the type of football IQ that he's been around, like, that dude's going to be a gamer from the head all the way down.
Glenn from Nashville says, Parker, I know it's not fair, but when I look at Brady Quinn, he gives me Chris Robeson vibes. That's a throwback. Chris Robeson. He was in Oklahoma for like 7 months. 7 months before he got dismissed from the program. Had a good career at Florida Atlantic, though. Played for Lane Kiffin. In fact, was he not the starter when FAU came back here to Norman in 2018? I believe I'm correct on that. Let me know.
I can kind of see the Chris Robeson connection.
A 405 listener says, DJ Uiagalelei was outstanding. Thumbs down. That text clearly sarcastic. If you go back, like, Clemson-era DJ, though, like before DJ sucked at Oregon State and Florida State, Clemson-era DJ was nice.
He was not bad.
Freshman year DJ, 2020 DJ, COVID DJ, that was a player.
COVID DJ.
He progressed in reverse. He regressed.
Mm-hmm.
He got worse as his college career
He got substantially worse.
Yeah. Like, to the point where you're just like, what happened? Because that Clemson-Notre Dame game, his freshman year, I don't know how many remember it, because it was COVID, and there was a lot that just kind of slips through the mental cracks for all of us that occurred during COVID. But that Clemson-Notre Dame game in 2020, I was sitting there watching that on a Saturday night thinking, oh, boy. Clemson might have found they might have found their next Heisman winner at quarterback. Like, this guy might be better than Trevor Lawrence when it's all said and done. That did not turn out to be the case. Not by a long shot. 405-651-3439. That's the First Liberty Bank text line. Hit us up. We're going to hit a quick timeout and come right back with more Oklahoma football and recruiting talk. Parker Thune, Grayson Singleton with you. Keep it here on the Ref, the home of Sooner fans.
Locked In is brought to you every day by Dorsey Jones GMC in El Reno. Dorsey Jones GMC is family-owned and operated with a knowledgeable, low-pressure sales staff here to help you through the buying process and half-price oil changes on Saturdays. Visit dorsey-jonesgmc.com for more information.
Looking for heavy equipment but don't know where to buy? Purple Wave Auction has you covered. Always online and always no reserve. It's your destination for construction or ag equipment ready to work. We even sell semis, trailers, and fleet equipment for your operation. Best part? It's free to join. Head to purplewave.com. That's purplewave.com. Sign up for a free account and start bidding today. Purple Wave Auction, the easiest and most straightforward way to buy and sell equipment.
Buffalo Wild Wings is bringing the heat this summer with the return of the Cornhole Tournament. The third Cornhole Tournament of the summer is heading to the Tulsa area and taking over the Bixby location on Saturday, July 11th. Registration kicks off at 11 a.m. and the tournament starts at high noon. Grab your crew, enjoy drink specials all event long, and compete for some awesome prizes for first, second, and third place. Don't miss the 2026 Summer Cornhole Tournament at Buffalo Wild Wings in Bixby, Saturday, July 11th, starting at 11 a.m.
Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings, beer, sports.
Entrepreneurs and More Norman in South Oklahoma City have an experienced business partner in their neighborhood. More Norman Technology Center's workforce and economic development team understands the challenges entrepreneurs and small businesses face every day. From building an effective business model to hiring the right employees and managing cash flow, More Norman's business development experts can help you move forward confidently and thrive, knowing that you have a skilled partner at your side. Learn more about More Norman's Technology Center by calling 405-801-5000 or visit us online at mntc.edu. you.
Fowler Automotive is proud to be a part of your community, where our passion and values lie far beyond the showroom. We believe that families, sports, art, and culture are at the heart of every thriving community, and it's important to us that we help build the communities that our dealerships call home. Stop by any of our 6 Oklahoma dealerships to see the Fowler standard hard at work. We pride ourselves on being friendly, helpful, honest, and fair. This is what drives us every day. Fowler Automotive, a proud partner of OU Athletics.
Cards fans ready to dress for the occasion? Well, Friday, June 26th, as the Cardinals take on the Miami Marlins, you'll get a brand new all-over print shirt. But that's just the start. You'll also get the matching shorts, too. It's not just a shirt, but a full summer set that brings a tropical twist to game night and makes waves in the stands. Available in medium and XL while supplies last. More details and tickets now at cardinals.com/promotions.
Hi, this is Peggy Doviak of DM Wealth Management, and we've been working with the residents of Norman for over 20 years as we help them solve questions about their cash flow, retirement savings, or tax planning. We also offer portfolio management solutions to help people meet their financial goals. We would love to help you plan your prosperity. Check us out at dmwealth.com.
Spring is here, a season of color, growth, and new beginnings. At Markham's Nursery, we have everything you need to make your spring truly special. From beautiful trees and hardy shrubs to vibrant perennials bursting with color. We have a huge selection of fruits and vegetables, roses and soils, everything you need to get your spring on the move. Helping generations grow in Oklahoma for over 50 years. Come grow something beautiful this spring. Markham's Nursery, just add the sun.
Markham's Nursery, just add the sun.
Dear hero, whoever you are, you save lives. I live with sickle cell and the pain and the issues that come along with sickle cell every day. I'm most grateful that people are willing to go out there and take their time, their blood, and give me new life. Because of you, I'm allowed to see my son grow up.
Giving equals living. Give blood. Replenish the supply. Learn more at hhs.gov/giveblood. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Okay, well, I'm an idiot for missing this. I understand why I did, though, because it happened while I was at Game 2 of the College World Series. Very much on the clock and getting work done for Soonerscoop.com. But Clemson's first quarterback offer in the 2028 class, as that listener pointed out, did indeed go out over the weekend, and it went out, Grayson, to Trey Wright. So,
well, that's a plot twist.
We'd already kind of discussed the reality that Trey Wright probably missed the boat by not being able to get up to Oklahoma during the summer for a camp, and that was not his own fault. He was supposed to come up and camp at Oklahoma. He planned to come up and camp at Oklahoma. Had a death in the family that prompted him to have to change his plans. And so it's just, nothing on his part that showed a lack of seriousness about Oklahoma, a lack of desire to check out Oklahoma. He did really want to check out Oklahoma. It just didn't work out. But, one thing leads to another. And when Oklahoma has offered 5 quarterbacks in the 2028 cycle and 4 of them do get the chance to visit and you're the only one that didn't, it's probably not going to be all that surprising when the buzz starts to die off about you and Oklahoma. And with Wright being the first quarterback offer for Clemson, I will say that's an offer he's wanted for some time, and he went out and camped to earn it. And so I'd consider Clemson the team with the edge in Trey Wright's recruitment moving forward. Either way, though, I don't see Oklahoma being much of a player there as we move ahead. It seems apparent that Brady Quinn is going to be guy number 1 for OU in the 28 cycle. And this is absolutely the case, Grayson. This should go without saying, but just to emphasize it, Oklahoma would like to get this 2028 cycle kicked off soon. they would like to start adding commitments as early as they started adding commitments from guys in the 2027 cycle. The first of whom, technically the first 2027 commit they had was Zane Rowe over 2 years ago. But the first standing commitment that they picked up was Luke Wilson last August.
Yeah. So we're about a month and a half out from them wanting to, or really a month, it's June 25th. Mm-hmm. So about a month out from them to start picking up commitments for next cycle. And, I mean, they're in good position to do so because it seems like the 2027 class is about 85 to 90% wrapped up. We don't know because of the changes to the eligibility that we discussed yesterday. We don't know if there's going to be a whole lot of late riser type offers that are going to be sent out during the season. So it really seems like our 2027 class, could be almost wrapped up by the time we hear from Sparrow, Wolfgram, and Laga.
With the process of elimination leading us to Brady Quinn as Oklahoma's priority target in the 2028 class at quarterback, let's tab Mr. Quinn, our recruit of the day, brought to you by Keystone Property Management. Quinn, of course, as we mentioned, 6 foot, 185 pounds, out of Chaminade-Madonna High School in Hollywood, Florida, has offers from SMU, from Indiana, from UCLA, from Miami, Florida State, but at least for the moment, it would appear that the Sooners are best positioned moving forward in his process.
Let's tell you about Keystone Property Management also as well. KeystonePMOK.com is where you can learn more about them. In the OKC Edmond area, they've got 2.5 bathroom and 3-bedroom townhomes that fit anything you want, plus anything that your wallet could want as well. So again, KeystonePMOK.com, or hit up our boy Drew England at 405-368-1836 as well.
We only have 5 days left in the month of June. We're getting close to having to crown a KREF Recruiter of the Month.
I know, right?
I'll tell you, a new contender may emerge if things go a certain way over the next 24 hours. And we still don't know. Still don't know whether it's going to go Oklahoma's way or BYU's way with 4-star safety target Bodie Sparrow. But if the Sooners can get this one done, man, I mean, nothing's ever going to compare to Peyton Bowen.
Sure.
In terms of just the sheer magnitude of a recruiting win. But I think you can definitely make the argument that, save for Bowen, landing Sparrow would be the biggest win of Brandon Hall's tenure as Oklahoma's safeties coach.
Yeah, I would say so. And I would still say it's Peyton Bowen ahead of Sparrow for this reason, because it was so dramatic.
Yeah.
And the circus around it kicks it over the top for me. But I think Sparrow, though, is a nice feather in the cap because you would have pried him away from BYU, and the LDS connection that we've talked about ad nauseum makes that an incredibly difficult task, especially for a cat of that caliber. So you're talking about a guy who's going to fill a need because you still only have one safety committed, Jalen Scott, in the 2027 class. You need him. He is going to be a game changer type of player we can project, and you want that defense to continue being special for years to come, you get a guy like that.
Sparrow's decision comes down at 2:00 p.m. Central Time tomorrow. So right as we go on air, we're going to be actively awaiting the decision, the commitment from Bodie Sparrow. If he does choose Oklahoma, let's do some quick math here. I believe offhand he would be the 7th top 100 player in Oklahoma's 2028 cycle, joining Caden Penny, Cooper Hackett, Gabriel Osborne, Seneca Driver, Cooper Witten, and Taven Epps. Yes. 7 top 100 players in the same class. I believe that would be a first in the Brent Venables era. Because if memory serves me correctly, they had 6 top 100 players in the 2023 class. So, certainly bolsters the notion that this is a truly elite OU class. Anybody who's still under the delusion that OU's class is only number 3 in the nation because it has 25 total commits and that it's a matter of quantity as opposed to quality, that pretty much shatters that perception.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do. And I agree with that too. And I think it's also one that you've led for a long time. Like, Parker, we don't talk about this enough, I think. The ones that you lead for a long time, you got to close the deal. You got to be a closer in that way too. And again, mentioned this yesterday, but if you can break through with a guy like Sparrow and he can tell other kids of the LDS faith, hey, come play at Oklahoma, they're going to take good care of you. They're people that we would feel comfortable playing for. That opens the door for a lot, man, because the LDS kids, man, there's some athletes out there, like, they can play. So, like, that, the upside to that, even beyond Bodie Sparrow's, I guess, 5 years that he would be here would be outstanding as well.
And as I mentioned, there's still some intrigue. There's still absolutely some suspense going into tomorrow's decision from Sparrow. If we're trying to triangulate details here and try to distinguish fact from fiction, what's real, what's not, one thing I would point out is that this is something that generally holds true. It doesn't hold true in 100% of cases, but generally speaking, when there has been a very clear and obvious leader in a recruitment for some time, but said recruit has also determined to take all of his official visits before making a decision, that decision coming this soon after he wraps up his OV slate generally favors chalk. Generally, that's a good sign for the school that has led. Because, think about it, if you're higher on one school than the rest for months and months and months, as Bodie Sparrow has been with Oklahoma, and then BYU, or any other school for that matter, actually does change his mind about where he's at in the decision-making process over the course of the OVs, then it probably doesn't happen decisively enough. And a kid like that who's as intelligent and measured and rational as he is, he's probably not going to turn around and publicize that decision 5 days later.
Sure.
You know,
yeah.
He's going to want to sit on it. He's going to want to make sure that all of the things he's feeling are borne out by the data and that his family feels the same way and that the opportunity that's being pitched to him matches up with what he himself sees at a program like BYU. And so if a kid's mind changes during OVs, generally it's going to be a couple weeks before he's ready to put his foot down and say, you know what? Nope. I was leaning to this other school before, but this is the right spot for me. Let's go. I'm going to make this decision for real. Again, I'm not saying there's 100% correlation between the chronology of a decision like this and those particular dynamics that have been at play in a recruitment like his for some time now. But if you're trying to infer whether or not it is going to be Oklahoma for Bodie Sparrow tomorrow based on what you can know from judging and evaluating past trends, I think that's one of the things that jumps out at you, certainly.
I can see that, and it's one of those things where it's like, okay, my leader has been supplanted.
Mm-hmm.
If I know that fast, then BYU must have done some crazy stuff. If he figured out that fast, man, I want to jump away from Oklahoma that fast. So, and then you got to be wondering about Oklahoma, like, oh, what did you guys, how'd y'all leave the door open so much? So, no, I think that's a really good way to look at it. I do think, I expect Sparrow to choose Oklahoma tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't know. You tell me, Grayson, but because I haven't been in this game for a long, long time.
Oh, no.
But back when I was in college, you know, if you're dating a girl.
Yeah.
When you decide it's time to cut the cord and go your separate ways, that's not something that you just wake up one morning and you're like, all right, I'm done. Right? Obviously, you've thought about it.
Yeah, it's a build-up of a bunch of different events and sequences and whatnot. No, yeah, I can agree with that. I haven't done that before.
Yeah.
But
it's not a decision that you make in the span of like a day or
no,
two.
No. Like you don't go to bed happy and then wake up and be like, nah, I'm done with this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that doesn't happen.
Todd in OKC says, Parker, wouldn't Sparrow rather play in the SEC than in the Big 12? I mean, if it were any other school than BYU, and it were any other kid than an LDS kid, then
there's a different factor involved.
There's a unique layer to this recruitment because of BYU being the LDS school and him being of the LDS faith. So it's not that simple. In many cases it is, but this is not one of those cases. And so, yes, the SEC is obviously going to offer a kid like that much greater potential for development through competition than a conference like the Big 12. But does that really matter the most to this kid when push comes to shove? We will all find out together at 2:00 p.m. tomorrow afternoon.
Bob, come on, man.
Bob from Cement said, what if you have a chick that's okay with an open relationship?
Well, I mean,
Oh,
at that point, you do what you got to do.
Never change, Bob. Never change.
I'm joking.
806 Persistent says, I've been in and out of the show with him being LDS. Is he planning on going on his mission? That is not something that's on my radar. And what I mean by that is, like, I don't think it's something that he's going to be doing before or during college. The mission is not something that, at least that I've been apprised of being in the plans for Bodie Sparrow before he comes to Oklahoma or while he's at Oklahoma. Las Vegas Sooner says, PT, why not have our latest national champion baseball player, Trey Gamble, give Sparrow a call and let him know LDS will fit in at OU? Maybe he, too, can win a national championship. Is Trey Gamble LDS?
I
guess
didn't
I didn't realize that. But, yeah, I mean, hey, if you need somebody to help tip the scales in your favor right before decision day, you can have a guy like Gamble get on the horn with Bodie Sparrow. All right, folks, one more segment to come. Do you have questions for us? Anything you're curious about as we kind of start to wind towards the end of the 2027 cycle for Oklahoma? There are only 4 players left on the board that Oklahoma is actively pursuing that took official visits. I should say there are 5. 5 players left on the board for Oklahoma that are as of yet uncommitted that took official visits during the season. However, down the stretch, come the season, could Oklahoma push for a few big flips to really solidify their class as a top 3 class in the entire country? Let's discuss some of the names that could come into focus on the other side. This is The Ref, the home of Sooner fans.
The word is spreading, and the Ref Army is growing. Keep telling your friends and family that there's only one station for true Sooner fans, and that's the Ref Radio Sports Network, and worldwide on the KREF app.
Are you worried about what might be lurking in your walls? Hi, this is Reese with Cavens Group, experts in mold and asbestos detection. For a limited time, get our comprehensive inspection and rest easy knowing your family's safety comes first. Our certified professionals use state-of-the-art technology to uncover hidden dangers and give you peace of mind. Don't wait for problems to get worse. Call Cavens Group today or visit cavensgroup.com and breathe easier tomorrow. Cavens Group, you don't need us until you need us.
Celebrate America's 250th anniversary with one of the city's longest-running traditions, the 51st Annual Westwood Golf Invitational, July 3rd through the 5th. This 54-hole stroke play tournament features first-place prizes in every flight, including a trophy and $500 in pro shop credit. New this year, a senior flight on Friday and Saturday. Presented by Oklahoma Tickets and open to amateurs and professionals, registration starts at $210 and includes green fees, drink tickets, lunch, and a commemorative hat. Register by July 1st at westwoodinvitational.com.
Hey there, Ref Army, it's Dory Noka, name coming up. Host of the Dory Noka Show and lead anchor of the SEC Network. Catch Josh Helmer and myself every weekday, 9 to noon, as we'll talk everything OU and the SEC. No better way to listen to us, 9 to noon, than by downloading the KREF app, powered by Warren Cat. Just go to the App Store or Google Play Store, search for KREF, and you'll never miss a show, no matter what, no matter where you go. That's the KREF app, presented by Warren Cat. Whatever the job, whatever it takes.
Whether you're celebrating a special occasion, desire a great postgame, or after-work dining experience, the Ranch Steakhouse is the winning choice. At Ranch Steakhouse, we're grilling up the best USDA prime steaks in Oklahoma. Juicy, flavorful, and cooked to perfection. Pair that with an unbeatable atmosphere, a killer drink selection, and a wine list of over 400 personally curated bottles. Whether you're toasting the game or winding down after a big day, Ranch Steakhouse is where champions eat.
Hey, it's Tyler McComas with The Rush. If your 4th of July fireworks plan is grab whatever's left next to the beef jerky, we need to talk. Big Brooks Fireworks in Norman is where I send people who want the biggest bang for their buck. And I mean the kind of bang that makes your neighbors look over the fence and say, well, somebody came prepared. They've got the biggest kids selection in the state, so the little ones can line up the driveway without you needing a financial advisor or a fire marshal on standby. This year, don't show up with a sad sparkler and a half-hearted popper. Go big, go Go Brooks! While you're there, check out the historic old schoolhouse on 24th Avenue Northwest. Get a picture in front of the huge 100-year-old American flag and enjoy shopping in their brand new air-conditioned fireworks emporium. Because nothing says freedom like buying fireworks without sweating through your shirt. And yes, bottle rockets are back in Oklahoma, so act accordingly. Big Brooks Fireworks is where the sky's the limit. Find them on Facebook at Big Brooks Fireworks or online at BigBrooksFireworks.com. Light up your summer with Big Brooks Fireworks.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
In the U.S., 1 in 5 children with cancer will not survive. But there is hope because of you. Help give them more birthdays, more moments, more tomorrows, because every child deserves a chance to grow up. Give them tomorrow. Support St. Jude today.
Your child's oral health milestones matter. By age 1, see a pediatric dentist to establish good oral health habits. At 7, see an orthodontist to check your child's bite, teeth, and jaws. Around 15, visit an oral and maxillofacial surgeon to have your child's wisdom teeth examined. Remember, milestones met, healthy teeth set. Visit milestonesmet.org.
Parker Thune and Grayson Singleton back with you for one final segment here on Locked In, the only Oklahoma football recruiting radio show in this market. I have to think, I haven't done extensive research on it, I have to think we're one of the only recruiting exclusive radio shows in the entire country. And maybe it's unfair to call us recruiting exclusive because we do talk a lot of nonsense on this show. This show does take us a million different directions, but we're primarily here to talk Oklahoma football.
I mean, because most shows that are predicated around our topic matter are in podcast form.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. And you can find us, you can find this show in podcast form on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. We distribute all of our shows here at the Ref via podcast platforms. You can also watch us on YouTube every single day. Go to the KREF Sports YouTube channel if you are so inclined to, for whatever reason, see our faces instead of just hearing our voices. Grayson, as we move ahead here, Oklahoma has 25 commits in the 2027 cycle. That number could stretch to 27, 28 by the end of the summer. And heading into the fall, Oklahoma's not going to have a ton of work left to do, but there are at least a couple of players that they are going to very actively push to flip moving ahead. And we've talked about him before. We've talked about how much Oklahoma likes him, feels he's an ideal fit for their defensive scheme, and just brings a unique dynamic that nobody in this class can bring. That, of course, is Gideon Gash, the 4-star defensive back out of Detroit, Michigan, who as of this moment is committed to Texas Tech. He was scheduled to OV with Oklahoma earlier this month, but canceled that OV after committing to Texas Tech. Oklahoma's not going to quit pushing there. They are not going to quit trying for Gideon Gash. They will stretch that thing into the season. They will try to get it back. They will try to get him back on campus, I should say. They're going to go the Jaden Petit route here. And what that means is going to lay low for a couple months, keep the relationship going, but come the season, they're going to ramp up their efforts to get him down to Norman. And also, man, they're going to count on winning more games than Texas Tech will, which is a little bit safer of a bet now that Tech is having to operate with their third-string quarterback in Kirk Francis to start the year, and probably their second-stringer in Will Hammond for the majority or the entirety of conference play, now that Brendan Sorsby is somewhere in the football vortex waiting for a UFL organization to yank him out. But that's the plan of approach for Oklahoma as it pertains to Gideon Gash. There is another blue chipper, though, that they're not going to concede the fight for. And, man, I will freely admit, as is the case with Gash, I don't know how much traction they're going to get here. Mm-hmm. But they're not going to give up on Case Alexander either.
I figured that's where you were going to go.
Brent Venables, in particular, really wants Case Alexander in this class.
Sure.
Brent Venables can be a persuasive guy. But the feedback that I've gotten on Case and just kind of gauging, asking this question, even before he committed to Penn State, was, when a kid is kind of waffling back and forth between two schools like this for as long as Case Alexander was, when he does make that decision, is that decision going to be final? And the feedback I got from folks close to that process was, yeah, whenever he does make that decision, that's probably it for Case Alexander. He's not the type of kid to go back on his word after he does put his foot down and say, I'm going here or I'm going there. And so Oklahoma's going to stay involved. We'll see if they can't get him back to campus for a game day, see if you maybe have something there, see how Matt Campbell's first season at Penn State goes and how competitive they are right off the bat. But if we're identifying possible flip targets for the fall, I think the conversation starts with those two guys, Gash and Alexander, two guys that Oklahoma was really, really close with during OV season, but just couldn't get past that final obstacle with. That final obstacle being Texas Tech in Gash's case and Penn State in Alexander's case.
Yeah, and I think if Gash is open to it, I think there's more of a crack in the door there than there would be from Alexander, because we know the direction of Penn State is presumed to be on the up and up with Matt Campbell. Obviously, it's going to take him a year or two to really get that thing back to where it was under James Franklin, but there is a very feasible path up for Penn State and thus Case Alexander. In the case of Texas Tech, I got no idea, man, because this is an athletic department that just released a 25-minute manifesto defending a compulsive gambler. So I'm not necessarily sure here if they're not winning games how persuasive they're going to be, just given the I don't want to call it a clown show, but the very strange nature of how that operation is moving right now. So I do think that if Texas Tech has a disappointing season, which is on the board because your $5 million quarterback is not going to be available, I think you could get back into the ear of Gash. But I'm kind of with you. As long and arduous as the Case Alexander recruitment was and how arduous of a decision it was for him, I don't think he's backing off of that, particularly because Penn State in a couple years, I think is going to be right back there being a perpetual top 5 team in the AP rankings week in and week out.
Yeah. General Bootie's lieutenant said, are there any upcoming big recruits coming out of Washington that breaking the drought with Alexander would help? Not really. They got a couple 2028 kids that are pretty talented. Josiah Dickerson at running back, Creed Barrett at quarterback, but OU hasn't shown a ton of interest in either of those guys. They flirted with Barrett for a little while, but I think the decision that they came to ultimately was he's a little bit too small right now, and he's still growing. I'll say that. So maybe he winds up being 6 feet plus, but he is smaller by quarterback standards, and that's not something that Ben Arbuckle and Oklahoma are super enthused. They love the skill set, by the way. They love the skill set. It's hard not to when you go watch Creed Barrett play. He's a fun watch, but physically there's some development that needs to happen there, no question. And then Josiah Dickerson is just short. Like really impressive athlete, really well built, really well put together, but he's about 5'6", 5'7".
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be an issue.
Is what it is. Good kid, really good kid. He will land somewhere. I don't necessarily get the impression it's going to be Oklahoma right now. I think Dylan McCullough is swinging a little bit bigger in the 2028 cycle. Maybe he's a 105 guy at some point, though. Maybe maybe they feel like taking a third running back at some point down the line, and Dickerson is a guy that being down the road, being a legacy kid at Oklahoma, not a legacy kid in the sense that his dad played football here, but both his parents are OU grads. Maybe there's something there at some point. We'll see. It'd be fun. It'd be fun if that happened. Deer Creek Sooner said, I have a friend that's a rabid Tech fan, and he is fed up with the Tech hate, thinking it's all out of Cody Campbell envy. Yeah, that's not it. There are a zillion different spins that I've seen from the Tech folks. The most hilarious one last night was, I forget who it was, there was a Texas reporter that put out a poll on Twitter that asked, if there was a game between Texas Tech and Oklahoma tomorrow, who would you root for? And Texas fans pretty one-sidedly voted in favor of Oklahoma.
That's wild.
And there was a Texas Tech media member that quote tweeted like, "Well, all the not a rivalry people down in Austin are really telling on themselves right now." Like, real that's the angle you're going to take here. You think the Longhorn fan base pulling for Oklahoma over Texas Tech insinuates that Texas and Texas Tech is a quote-unquote rivalry?
Nah,
no,
that ain't what that is.
Your institution has made itself the villain of college football for the last month.
I don't even know if I could even say they've been a villain because this whole thing is just laughable. You know, because like if you're gonna be a villain, at least give me some adult behavior that would make me hate you. Like, don't be doing this petulant child thing where it's like, okay, like this is too comical for me to actually hate you for it.
Amen to that. Like, you're just acting like a spoiled little child.
That's
over
what I'm
there
saying.
In Lubbock. And everybody sees it, and I guarantee you, if a media member from any school in America puts that poll out, would you root for my school's biggest rival, or would you root for Texas Tech if they played tomorrow? Guarantee you 90%.
Yeah.
90% of those polls are slanting in favor of the actual rival.
Yeah, Michigan would root for Ohio State if they were playing
Maybe.
Texas Tech.
Maybe.
And Deer Creek Sooner, to your friend's point too, like at least I have never participated in this wild Texas Tech hate. I've got nothing against Texas Tech until 2 weeks ago. Like I generally didn't. Like it literally befuddled me why we hate Texas Tech so much over here. But until when that happened, it's like, all right, now y'all just look dumb.
Yeah, no, Steely has been the conductor.
The propagator.
He's been
of
the
that.
conductor of the hate train for years and years
I'm
and
sure.
years.
Oh, I'm sure.
He's got to feel as vindicated as anyone with what has
I
unfolded
know, right?
thus far in June. Recruiting Boomer says, I wouldn't even try Washington anymore. The Alexander family just screwed the whole thing up. Okay. I mean,
you're entitled to feel that way, but
Washington will have more talent down the line. Like I said, they do. They're in the 2028 class. And at a certain point in time, Oklahoma's going to go back there.
Mm-hmm.
And there is OU support in Washington. And I know I mentioned this on the board at Soonerscoop.com a couple weeks ago as we got closer to the Alexander verdict, but it's not always some massive top-down conspiracy if Oklahoma can't tap into a school. Like, again, a kid like Josiah Dickerson, lifelong OU fan. If that door was ever open for him to be a Sooner, he would more than likely be a Sooner. And boom, the Washington drought would be over. James Winchester, I guess, is the last Washington Warrior to play ball at Oklahoma.
The long snapper?
Yeah. But you have to understand there are individual circumstances at play in each of the recruitments of the Washington kids that have had the opportunity to play at Oklahoma in recent years and haven't. With Nate Roberts, he didn't want to play for Joe John Finley. I mean, I know there are many on the text line that can very well sympathize with that perspective. He thought the opportunity was better at Ohio State. And you know what? He was on the field making an impact in year one at Ohio State. So from a business perspective, there's a strong argument he did the right thing. With Cooper, Oklahoma slow played it. They took too long. And I think the way that Steven Alexander handled his boys' recruitment, I know some don't agree with this, but I think he did it exactly the right way because I never got the sense he exerted any undue influence on either of his sons to pick Oklahoma for his sake. He was very clear with them that you make the decision that is best for you. Whatever you feel like is best for you, we're on board with. And for Cooper, that was Iowa State. Really trusted the staff there, had an outstanding relationship with all of them, and that led him to Ames. And for Case, again, I don't think Case would have committed to Iowa State. But when Matt Campbell and that staff moved to Penn State, that made the destination a lot more alluring for a kid like that. In a linebacker-dominant league like the Big Ten, where you're playing a very physical style of football and a kid that brings a ton of athleticism to the position and a ton of intelligence, he's a good fit at Penn State. He will likely have success there. So I get it if you're burned out on Washington right now, but it's not Washington's fault. It's just kind of been an imperfect storm with the last three big-time kids that have come through there. Jason from Miami says, Washington dudes are a no-go in my book. They upset us in the second round of playoffs in 1992. More to the story there, but yeah. Well, okay, Jason. Yeah, you know, if you have a personal reason to hate Washington, it's okay with me. We've all lived different experiences. Kiowa Sooner says, I never hated Tech as much as I do now since I began listening to KREF. I'd like to thank Steely for it. I hate the Sand Aggies. J-Dub said, I would root for Iran before Texas, but I would root for Texas before Tech.
Did Steely concoct the name Sand Aggies, or did he get that from somewhere?
I think that originated on a Texas Tech message board years and years and years ago.
Okay, gotcha.
And Steely has called it that for years and years.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I think that's a Longhornism, actually.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh. Got to give credit to the T-Sips on that one. Good moniker that they came up with.
Sand Aggies.
All right, folks, that's all for today's installment of Locked In. We will have one more show with you tomorrow until the weekend arrives. Coming up next, it is The Rush. Don't go anywhere. For Grayson Singleton, I'm Parker Thune. We'll see you tomorrow. Take it easy.